Hey, it's Georgia. Today we're going to talk about emotional courage. And if you look at all my other playlists, they're going to be combined into one. They're the messy part of healing from a dynamic where you were manipulated, gaslit, just emotional junk from another person, regardless of the kind of relationship dynamic. So, what I want to talk about is it takes great emotional courage to be able to sit with the experience and handle processing, what happened and the things that were done to you if you were trying to be, authentic and genuine and really care for another person and they just like tossed it in the trash. This is the other side of this. The healed part. What does that feel like? What does that look like? Well, what it looks like is there's a lighter feeling in your heart and in your mind, and it doesn't carry all those flashbacks, which I know if you're in the middle of healing, it can seem like that time is never going to come into your life, but I can assure you that it will. And it just really is such a polar opposite experience. Just trusting yourself more and really understanding what it is that you want in a relationship and being able to identify those things that you don't want when they appear. That way you're not bringing in another bad experience. And where I'm going to start with this is your breath. Often when people are having flashbacks of something that somebody did to them, the heart rate goes up, the breath, the shallow breathing, holding the breath. And I really want to have you focus on breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And, a slow inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And keep doing that and understand that you're bringing in new energy, clean oxygen, clean, new, everything's new. And the reason I'm talking about this is because when you hold your breath and when you breathe in through your mouth, you're actually activating the fight flight response in your body. And as a wellness coach, whether I'm training people for the injury prevention and recovery or for the mindfulness lifestyle change coaching, everyone has a tendency to do it. It just depends on, at what triggers them to naturally start breathing in a shallow way and in a way that just stresses their body out more. And the goal of healing also is to retrain your body to respond different to stressors. So when you're healed and you really understand, it's not healed, I'm over it, because it's, look, I've talked about this in other videos. Go look at my messiness playlist. That's what it's called now. I talk a lot about how letting go and healing aren't just like that. I mean, yeah, we can tell ourselves that, but the issue with that is that all those memories are still stored, and it's just a matter of time before something or someone triggers them to be in your conscious awareness. So every day, the focus should be on yourself and really focusing on your breath. And, that repressed stuff. I mean, I keep saying repressed stuff, and I know it sounds like that's all I'm talking about, but it's really not if you're listening to the videos. All of those things impact the body, and they can show up as aches, as pains, and sometimes a full-blown injury that'll ground you for about 8 weeks sitting down to heal it, to force you to sit with yourself in your own mind and process it. And that is why I'm on here. And, my channel is all about providing content that is reflective for the people that, need it, and also for the people that maybe want to understand other people better. It's certainly not for people to use as a manipulation tactic. My experience I share here because, when I'm face to face with people, the stories and the perspective helps. And not everybody, some people have lives that are just less chaotic, and some people do have chaotic lives, but they don't see it that way because they're so used to it. And then there's the people that are going through life trying to find their people, their tribe, and they're missing the connections, and they're the people that get hurt the most, it seems, at least from my experience. And what I'm hoping to do is to reach the people that could benefit from these tips and strategies and really help them work through their personal stuff so they can be happy and long-term and sustainable happiness. So with your breath work, you will breathe in through your nose and slowly through your mouth. You'll also really pay attention to how you're sitting, because a lot of times, especially with technology, as you know, it's naturally a part of our lives, computers, smartphones and stuff. People have a tendency, and just the technology itself tends to force the body into a forward position, right? Your shoulders are rounded forward. It's putting tension on your traps, your rhomboids, and it's also weakening the front shoulders and the triceps, because you're constantly in this position and you're just putting tension on the outer muscles from the shoulder to the wrists, and rolling your shoulders back and just really sitting with it and figuring out where that pain is and just breathing through it. Use your hands to massage it. That will help. But the breathing is the most important part of it, because you can do a lot of things, whether it's a physical activity that you participate in, whether it's sitting on the couch, whether it's standing up talking to people, whether it's at work, it doesn't really matter, because if you're holding your breath or you're taking shallow breaths, so it's a short breath in, but the breath isn't really reaching anything because it's not deep enough for it to flow through your body. People that do that create more stress in their body. And eventually that stresses the muscles, because if your muscles don't have the oxygen, that's a problem, right? Add stress on top of that, the stress of life that you're personally going through, whether it's a relationship or whatnot, that compounds the problem. So to avoid the overly taxed, immune system, you want to really make sure that you're taking the breaths. And as far as flashbacks, I'll circle back to what I first started talking about. When you get those, just acknowledge it, let it pass, and tell yourself that you're safe now and that you're not in that experience. And don't try to justify or figure out why somebody did what they did. You'll never really know. And even if you ask them, you will never really know, because if somebody plays games, they continue to play games. So the most important points here are breathing. How is your breathing? What are you doing? If you get really stressed and your heart rate goes up super fast, take 2 really fast breaths in through your nose, hold it, and slowly exhale through your mouth. And keep doing that to help force the body out of fight flight to the relaxation and the restore. So those are your tips for the day. I hope it was helpful. Again, on the other side of all the drama of a relationship, and even life, there is a good spot, and it does take effort and work. You can't just ignore things and assume that they're going away. They may in your immediate environment, but they're always lurking back into your brain, back in the recess of the brain. So I hope this helps. Have an amazing day. I will be on more. Apologize for the absence. Was working on quite a few things, and now I'm back. And again, if you have a comment, leave a comment. If you enjoyed this video or the content, I'd appreciate a like, subscribe if you would like to get notifications. And if you want to reach me, you can look in the description box for my contact information. This is Georgia, Energy Vibe Fitness. Have an amazing day. Bye.